Hey guys, Rox here. Typically, I only do endgame builds, specifically designed for pushing pit or doing various tier 4 activities such as bossing or hordes. I've been asked a few times for a leveling or early build game planner, so here's a quick overview of what I did to quickly make my way to tier 4 very easily. Normally, I level using a combo of Firewall and Hydra as they don't require much of anything gear-wise. However, while leveling in Season 7, I looted both Overheating and Flamethrower aspects pretty early and decided to try leveling with Incinerate. It was pumping out high damage early and made for a pretty comfortable leveling experience. Unlike last season, loot has been raining down via the new Greenwich Helltides and Roothold dungeons, so finding these aspects early shouldn't be too difficult. This build requires absolutely no uniques or mythics to start. However, I do recommend swapping to certain uniques like Tal Rasha's Ring once acquired. Alright, I'm going to try to go over this gear pretty quickly. This isn't going to be too in-depth, but just something to get you started. The first two aspects you're going to want are Overheating on your staff, or you could put that on a one-hander or a focus, but I like to do it on staff because it is double the damage. This basically just makes our quality of life a lot easier with Incinerate and keeps the ramp up time going, while we have to move around and navigate through the dungeon. The other thing you're going to want is Flamethrower, and this will be put on your amulet, and this is what splits our Incinerate into 3 beams, and it's a pretty high multiplier as well. For your helmet, I chose to put Unwavering on. You could put any type of defensive on here, Juggernaut, Ever-Living, Snow-Veiled, or even Exploiters if you want like more damage. But typically you're going to want like an Int, Max Life, Armor, or All Resist on your helmet. For your chest piece, like I said, another defensive aspect here is fine. I have Ever-Living on mine. Again, you're going to want Int, Max Life. Probably try to get like mana per second if you can, because, early and mana don't really go hand in hand, so this will just make your life a lot easier. Also, you don't really need to put tempers on any of these pieces early, but obviously as you scale into higher pit tiers, higher torments, you might want to start, tempering like armor, freeze chance, things to just make your experience a lot easier. For gloves, I put Engulfing Flames on here. This is going to help with our burning damage, which obviously is a must because Incinerate is a damage over time and not direct damage build. For my gloves, I have Intelligence, Max Life, and Ranks to Incinerate. Once again, not really necessary because Incinerate is so strong, but if you can get the ranks, great. If not, you can put damage over time on here. You could sub Max Life for armor, whatever you need. For the pants, normally I would wear just like a regular pair of pants like this here with like Max Life Armor, again, all resist, and you can put concussive on here. You can put a type of defensive aspect, whatever you need. However, once you start like trying to get into tier 3 and tier 4, the resists are kind of a problem. And I happened to find a pair of these. It wasn't a 3 GA, they were just a regular pair, not a single GA on them. And the resist to all all elements on here helps tremendously for once you're getting into the higher torment levels as well. Again, boots here, I have concussive. Like I said, you use exploiters, juggernaut, whatever you want. But for these, I don't think the implicit really matters. Like these, I just have evade grants movement speed. It's not like a telestomp build where you have to have evade or attacks reduce evade's cooldown. You could use double evade, triple evade boots. That doesn't really matter. But you're going to want to put more defensives on here. So max life, armor, resist all, or you could put movement speed or dodge chance. The staff, yeah, I had pretty much already gone over. The overheating you're going to want on here. Once again, nothing here needs to be GA. We're going to do int, max life, and damage over time. So those are like the 3 stats you're pretty much going to want. And obviously, amulets, very hard to get like they were last season. I have a pretty basic amulet here. I did just get a GA int one, but while I was leveling, I just had no GA at all. It was a regular int, amulet with max life and armor. Nothing special. But if you do happen to come across one, you're going to want something like int and passives such as Endless Pyre, Inner Flames, I believe even Permafrost works now, Icy Touch, or Glass Cannon. The rings, pretty standard again, and you could do max life, you could do damage, preferably you'd want like damage over time instead of damage. You could do Vuln as well, and for this we're going to put Conflag on here because that's going to increase our burning damage. But like I said, you don't need to have Conflag and Engulfing right away. When I switched, I used Overheating and Flamethrower, and then added these two later on. However, like I said, if you don't have a staff, you can use like a wand and a focus, and then for this, like you could put something like Stormswell or Conceited on here instead. All right, and now for our witch powers. Nothing too crazy. I know a lot of people are struggling with finding the altars inside the dungeon to unlock some of these. But the ones that I had used are Doom Orb, Aura of Siphoning, Decay. Well, this right now I don't think I have even leveled, so it's not really like doing much of anything for me inside anything that isn't like the green Helltide. So like this you could sub out for whichever one you want. I also have Soul Harvest on here, which is also not doing much of anything. The thing is like Incinerate is so strong early, it doesn't even necessarily like need these, but this will help you when you're getting into higher hit tiers. And I have Breath of the Coven on right now. As of making this video, Hex of Whispers is unfortunately broken, but you would want to put this on instead of like Breath of the Coven. So I would probably absolutely put this on, you know, once it's enabled. I have no idea when it's going to be re-enabled, but this is really nice. This also removes your stacks from the pit boss. So if you know you have a hard time dodging, this is great. But like I said, it's not working right now. Let's see. Also, we're going to use Firebolt enchant, and we are going to use Firewall enchant. So basically what we're using both of these for is to help with our burning. So when we have the Firebolt enchant, this is also giving us the Glinting Firebolt. So it's just going to randomly fire a firebolt out at an enemy, and it's going to increase the burning damage they take by 25% multiplier. And then with Firewall enchant, when it does cast, this is what we pretty much are using it for. It makes enemies also take 25% increased burning multiplier. Right now, because my mana is fine, I have the Mage's Firewall on, but if you are leveling and you're starting this build out, absolutely take the Wizard's Firewall instead, because the more firewalls you have out, the more your mana regen, you know, and you can just hold Incinerate down, and this will make your life a lot easier. But yeah, otherwise, so this is pretty much the skill tree. Just one in Firebolt, all the way down to Glinting. Obviously, we're going to max out Incinerate, take Enhanced, and then Destructive Incinerate. This will basically, you know, make us a little bit tankier. Elemental Dominance for, you know, some extra damage. I have 1 point in Flame Shield. Let's see, Teleport. Obviously, we're going to go down. Shimmering, so we take less damage. Right here, I have 2 points in Ice Armor. We're going to go Enhanced, and we're going to take Mystical Ice Armor. A lot of builds take this one, but unfortunately, Incinerate really doesn't spend mana that quickly, so this is almost irrelevant to take. So you might as well just take this, and when you start tempering the frozen lucky hit chance to freeze, and when you use your Frost Nova, then we're going to be dealing more damage to frozen enemies. So with that said, also we're going to go Frost Nova, and all the way down to Mystical Frost Nova. You know, more damage, and this works nicely against bosses. And then here in our Conjuration tree, align the elements. We're going to put 3 points in Protection, and we're going to put 3 points in Mana Shield. You know, obviously this isn't going to be up constantly, but when it is up, you know, more damage reduction is nice. We're going to put 3 points in our flames, 1 point in crippling flames to help CC enemies. Obviously this here is once again for the enchant, but like I said, you're not going to want to take this one until your mana problems, you know, are completely gone. So absolutely take Wizard's Firewall instead. All right, down here, 1 point in permafrost, and then we're going to put 3 points in hoarfrost to help with more damage against frozen enemies, and icy touch since this works against all vulnerable enemies. We're going to take 3 ranks in elemental synergies, 3 ranks in evocation for more cooldown reduction. We're going to max out Inferno and go all the way down to Supreme Inferno. So while this is active, none of our Inferno or Incinerate is actually going to cost mana. But if you are having mana issues, you can take some points out of, you know, like Inferno, or even like 1 point out of Ice Armor here, and you can put it into Fiery Surge. You can max this out if you choose. But then we're going to max Endless Pyre, we're going to max Soulfire, and honestly, maxing Warmth is great. This thing, like once you start taking damage, it really shoots you back up to full HP the more enemies you have around you. And then finally, we're finishing our key passive off with Combustion here. All right, let's get into our Paragon board. All right, for our starting board, I chose to put Pyromaniac here because this is going to buff all of our rare nodes here on this board. And now we're going to go into the Burning Instinct board. This one's a little different than I normally do. I usually have Burning Instinct up here, but this is such an important node and it does so much extra damage. I wanted to get to this right away, so we immediately are going to path straight to Burning Instinct. And then we're going to come down here, and you can either choose to go over here and put Torch in right away on Fundamental Release, or you can go and put Exploit in. I went in and I put Exploit in, you know, I got it active. And then I, instead of like going all the way up here, I immediately went over, did the Fundamental Release board, and I got Torch in. Torch is a very, very important glyph for this build. So we'll just come down here, you know, grab this Vuln, put Torch in, you know, and I actually did max out Torch, and I leveled this glyph like pretty much as quickly as possible to 46 to get the expanded range. And then you're going to go over to Fundamental Release. I chose to go and get the damage reduction and a little bit extra of the damage to burning, but you could stop here if you wanted and come back and do this part later. And then our next board, we'll go over to Frigid Fate, and you can save a couple points and you don't have to do this here. You could just go up this way and then put Tactician in here. And this is going to buff all of our rare nodes of non-fizz and vulnerable. So yeah, you could just go up this way, do this, go around, grab Frigid Fate. That's going to give us a nice multiplier boost. And come down here. Normally I would like grab a bunch more of these, but you know, leveling early game, we're just trying to get to our glyphs and our legendary nodes pretty quickly. So I only put 2 points here in this damage reduction. And as you can see, like early game, most of these bonuses, we aren't going to have the stats to even activate them. So I wouldn't worry about those too much right now. And then our last board, we're putting Icefall on, because this now is working with all types of damage rather than just ice and frost damage like it did before. And we have a lot of frozen and freeze built into this kit. So we're gonna go straight down here, grab Icefall, come over, grab this non-physical, and then we're going to socket Control in here. And like I said, most of these glyphs, like pretty bare minimum just to get, you know, started. But like I said, this build is so strong and it plays nice very early, and it's just going to keep getting stronger as you get more levels and get better gear. All right, one more thing I forgot to go over was, yeah, I said you don't need any mythics or uniques in here. I got a Tal Rasha's early, just a regular one, but I did just use another one of these rings, so just like in max life, damage over time, or vuln, you know, honestly anything, and just put like conceded Stormswell, you know, any type of like damage, anything you know, that'll be nice type of quality of life. If you need more mana, put prodigies on, whatever. But one of the things that really gets this build going early, and one of the new features of Season 7, are these Occult Gems. And the Occult Gem that I currently have in, it's actually one of the cheaper ones to make. It's this damage over time effects. So just make sure you have an aura active in your witch powers. So I'm using Aura of Siphoning. And this one really makes the build come online, and you'll notice your damage over time ticking much faster. And it is, like I said, it is one of the cheap ones. So once you get the recipe for it and you get a head to make it, I believe it is this one right here. So this Vulture's Talent. So it takes 1 fugitive head, 1,000 restless rot, and the 50,000 topaz. And don't forget, you can convert one type of gem to another over at the regular jeweler, and this should be the first occult gem that you make. So yeah, that's pretty much it for going over my my gear and the witch powers and everything. Yeah, so like none of my witch powers are very high. They're all pretty low ranked. I pretty much saved up all my rot to put it into the occult gems because they're pretty strong. And I did forget to record a video while I was like, I didn't have any mythics or anything. So normally, you know, you could put on like Perdition, you'd want Shroud of False Death if you're getting, you know, into higher pit tiers, you know, tier 4 endgame. So I just quickly went back and recorded a level 65. I didn't even, you know, add another socket to these pants. I didn't put any int gems, so I could have gone much faster. And I did put the like the pretty basic, like very early to get easy runes. But most of the runes that we're going to want on these are the legendary ones, and they're harder to get. So if you don't want to use these runes, you can just put like topaz in for more int. You can put the amethyst in here, which are more damage over time, you know, or you can put more in. But yeah, so I'm just going to show you a tier 65, which is the pit tier that you need to unlock Torment 4, and it's just using all of this with, you know, no gems and very basic runes. So I hope this video guide helps you, and I will be updating the planner if you do actually want to continue using Incinerate. Personally, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of Incinerate. I don't really like the gameplay. I like to go fast. I like telestomp builds. But honestly, all in all, this is a really good early game leveling build. You can do all the tier 4 content. You can do all the uber bosses, you know, and you can level all of your glyphs probably to 100 very easily on this build while you're gearing for another build, you know. So that's something that Sorc didn't really have last season. You know, we had to have a Spiritborn run to kind of help us level our glyphs. Fortunately, we don't really need that. Incinerate is very strong. I will be swapping over to another build now that I have finally acquired all the gear that I need. So be on the lookout for that video in the next coming days. I will be streaming on Twitch all this week. So if you have any questions, feel free to come by my Twitch stream. That is linked below. But yeah, here is a tier 65 that I clear pretty quickly. And I hope this video helped. And thanks for watching. Take it easy, guys.